Well, gang, we did at one point in time know this day was coming, especially considering the fact that CNN is trying to, let's just say, change some of the rules, regulations, and how they actually report things. Very interesting piece, but it looks like Don Lemon, or Don Lemon, or Don Lemon, whatever you want to call him. It looks to me like his career just may be over with. Now, guys, you're probably thinking to yourself that him basically insulting Nikki Haley, which I really find kind of odd considering the fact that CNN rags on Republicans all the time, would not be the reason why it is that he's getting fired. And you know what? If you think that this is a little bit odd, chances are you're probably on to something. You see, I think that Don Lemon is getting fired for something completely different. I think he's getting fired because he's, quite frankly, just an insufferable person who, quite frankly, isn't marketable anymore. Either way, though, we're going to entertain every single possibility in this video. Now, guys, first and foremost, let me go ahead and kind of roll actually what he said. I know there's going to be some things in this video that may upset you. Either way, though, I need to ask you guys to please hit that like button anyways for the algorithm, so that way people kind of get a real understanding of why it is that he's basically being put on the shelf, even though, like I said before, it wasn't must. I'll put it this way here. What he said in reality was really just the excuse. CNN's been having problems with Don Lemon for a while, and I'll break that down. But let's go ahead and roll this first, and I'll catch you guys on the flip side.
Would include Trump. Elder statesman here.
This whole talk about age makes me uncomfortable. I think it's a wrong road to go down. She says people, politicians or something are not in their prime. Nikki Haley isn't in her prime. Sorry. When a woman is considered to be in her prime in her 20s and 30s and maybe 40s.
What are you talking? Wait.
That's not according to me.
Prime for what?
It depends. I mean, it's just like prime. If you look it up, if you Google when is a woman in her prime, it'll say 20s, 30s, and 40s. I don't necessarily.
40s. Oh, I got another.
I'm not saying
decade.
I agree with that. So I think she has to be careful about saying that politicians aren't in their prime.
We need to qualify. Are you talking about prime for like childbearing, or are you talking about prime for being president?
What the facts are. Google it. Everybody at home. When is a woman in her prime? It says 20s, 30s, and 40s. And I'm just saying Nikki Haley should be careful about saying that politicians are not in their prime and they need to be in their prime when they serve, because she wouldn't be in her prime according to
Google?
Google or whatever it is. Look, and you have to be careful because older people vote. Older people watch linear television, right? And so she has to be careful about turning off a certain constituency.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, most of you guys know, especially those who are subscribed to my channel, you guys know that I am not a fan of CNN or any of the personalities there. And don't worry, we're going to get into some of Don's greatest hits in this video too, but I want to go ahead and throw this up here. And I know I'm going to upset a lot of people with this, but I want to just kind of throw this up here, okay? If you ask Google, or you simply type into Google, what is a woman's prime years, or when is a woman actually at her best, or when is a woman's prime typically end, you typically get answers like 20s to 30s to 40s. A woman's prime normally ends after the age of 50. Men, on the other hand, there's a reason why men can, still maintain a good portion of their body beyond a certain age. It's because men typically tend to age a little bit different. I can already hear people saying men aren't any friggin' better than women are in the age department. Well, here's the thing. There are certain things that men don't deal with, and trust me, ladies, I'm not trying to rag on you. I actually have great empathy for you because obviously I have a mother, I've had girlfriends, I have family members of mine that are female, and actual real females, none of those ones who pretend to be women. But the thing is this right here. Women typically tend to go through certain things a little bit differently. For example, they tend to go through things like, say, menopause, they obviously menstruate, obviously a lot of things that, quite frankly, we're not allowed to talk about on the platform that, quite frankly, would get us men in trouble. But then again, here I am upsetting you guys more and more and more. But the thing is this right here. Don Lemon, this is very weird, why it is that they would get on him over saying what he's got to say about Nikki Haley, basically saying that she's a little bit too old. And by the way, I am not a fan of Nikki Haley, and I'll talk about her a little bit more towards the end of the video. But the thing is this right here. Right now it's coming out that a lot of people, well, in reality, this has actually been coming out for a while, but of course it's just simply resurfacing, that Don has a past of pissing off his female co-workers.
It's part of a pattern, and it ties in with the allegations that have been made against him recently that he was screaming at his co-host Caitlin Collins because she had the temerity to interrupt him, and he was annoyed. It's hard to be demoted from the primetime solo anchor to the morning show co-anchor, having to share your set with these annoying women. Thank God they're in their prime. At least he wasn't subjected to that indignity. Look into it. If any reporter worth their salt would actually do some digging, call CNN. Do it. Call their HR right now. Find out whether he's got a history of harassing his female colleagues. I dare any reporter out there to do it. All right? I'll do it myself. I'll do it today after the show, and I'll get back to you on what they say. He does not respect women. He does not see women as equals. He views women who are over the age of 40 as past their due date. And this is who they have covering, Nikki Haley. How's that going to go? How are we supposed to look at him as viewers and take anything he has to say about female politicians, never mind Republicans?
Now, you probably thought to yourself, Megyn Kelly, she doesn't like Don Lemon. She's been talking about Don Lemon for a while, and you would be 100% correct. But the thing is this right here, though. Don's been doing this crap for a while, not just only pissing off his female coworkers, but obviously he's had sex scandals. Of course, he's had sexual harassment scandals. And of course, Don, of course, is a gay man. Now, I'm not here to upset gays or anything. Okay, that's not what I'm here to do. But let me go ahead and say this, right? He's had like 2 or 3 separate incidents, especially one involving a bar, where he just kind of rolled up on a guy for basically no reason, basically saying that he wanted to get a piece of him that night. Stuff like that right there are things that, quite frankly, CNN has been tired of for a while. I mean, they did drop this guy from the 8 o'clock primetime segment down to the morning show. And many people think that that might be a promotion, when in reality it's actually a demotion, because not that many people watch CNN, especially in the morning. They prefer something like, say, ABC, Good Morning America, or they may even watch something like Fox and Friends. CNN has never really and truly done well in the morning graphics. So Don Lemon was obviously dropped down there. And of course, he made the, let's just say, the cardinal sin of bringing up the fact that a woman's age is obviously a problem. That right there is what's going on here. And I do find it very weird that they did, in fact, choose to do this because he insulted Nikki Haley. It's funny, too, because, like I said before, CNN typically goes out of their way to go after Republicans. But once again, I need to remind you that this entire ordeal has kind of sort of been going on for a while. Enter Sky News.
CNN anchor was accused of being sexist for making those remarks about a female in her 50s. Don Lemon later apologised, tweeting, "The reference I made to a woman's prime this morning was inartful and irrelevant, as colleagues and loved ones have pointed out, and I regret it. A woman's age doesn't define her either personally or professionally. I have countless women in my life who prove that every day." But according to Radar Online, Don Lemon's colleagues think the host has an ego. The source told the publication, "He has a colossal ego, and he's the kind of person who goes around saying he's not going to take the fall for his show flopping. It's not his fault, and the network's tanking, and they shouldn't have pushed him out of his primetime slot. The ratings are way down, the new boss is implementing tough new rules, and no one is happy. All these people were pampered with perks and pats on the back until now, and all of a sudden Don, Wolf Blitzer and others are at a point of yikes, we're in trouble." Another source also told Fox News Digital that CNN colleagues had no idea what he was even talking about when he made those remarks about Nikki Haley. The CNN insider said, "Everyone's annoyed. People are definitely upset about it. I was trying to figure out what the hell he was even talking about. None of it made sense. It was a stupid thing to say." The New York Post had reported that Don Lemon's co-host Bobby Harlow actually stormed off set after the remarks were made, with a source telling the Post it was a well-timed bathroom break. These two are reported to have been smouldering for months, the source told the Post, which was seen in that exchange as she questioned Don Lemon on what his prime comments meant. After headlines continued days after, Don Lemon was absent from the show, CNN This Morning, but so far he hasn't been formally suspended or let go. His boss, CEO Chris Licht, reportedly told staffers that the comments he made on air were upsetting, unacceptable, and unfair to his co-hosts, and ultimately a huge distraction to the great work of this organisation. Further drama continued today after it was revealed even embattled Long Island Congressman George Santos cancelled an interview set to take place with Don Lemon.
After some of the dumbest takes ever, this guy, by the way, was coined by former President Trump as the dumbest man on television. After all the very, very bad mistakes, after all the, the stupid things that he has said, all the, all the enraging things he has said, all the insightful things that he has said that, quite frankly, has helped sort of incite a lot of the degradation in our culture today. I just find it very odd that they chose to use this moment right here to basically throw him on the back burner and to eventually fire him. As I said before, guys, It's probably not just everything that he has said, not just the stupidity, but it's also the fact that he is obviously an insufferable jerk. All the scandals and everything, as I mentioned before, when you factor all that in and then all of a sudden he makes a comment like this right here is probably the result that you're going to get. And really quick, my issues with Nikki Haley are the fact that she's an insufferable neocon. And right now she's trying to play the whole identity politics angle. We'll probably do a different video on that at a later date. But then again, at the same time, this is also the same woman who said she was not going to run for president. Then she turned right back around and said, okay, I'm going to run for president. She almost feels to me like, I don't know, like the Republican version of like Hillary Clinton. Just a very, very scummy individual. At the end of that bit, there was also something even funnier, which, by the way, I accidentally forgot to edit in. Apparently, George Santos, the Republican who, quite frankly, has kind of beat the Democrats at their own game, basically claiming a bunch of woke stuff so that way he can get away with the woke stuff. Basically, all the type of lies and BS, kind of like Elizabeth Warren, for example, claiming that she's an Indian when in reality she's like 1,024th Indian or something like that right there. Basically, George Santos is our Republican version of Elizabeth Warren. That's basically what the hell's going on. I think it's funny that he decided to say, hey, look, you know what, I don't want to do this interview with Don Lemon, which I think is really funny, especially considering that Santos is also gay too. But then again, like I said, I'm not here to insult anybody of a certain lifestyle. That's not the point of this video is. Fact of the matter is that Don Lemon has been a problem for CNN for a while, and of course now they have the actual excuse to let him go. But before we end this video, guys, I want to give you guys a couple of Don's, let's just say, greatest hits.
Hijacking or terrorism or mechanical failure or pilot error, but what if it was something fully that we don't really understand? A lot of people have been asking about that, about black holes and on and on and on and all of these conspiracy theories. Let's look at this. Noah says, what else can you think about? Black hole, Bermuda Triangle. And then Deji says, just like the movie Lost. And of course, they're also referencing the Twilight Zone, which has a very similar plot. That's what people are saying. I know it's preposterous, but is it preposterous, you think, Mary?
Well, it is. A black hole is about, you know, a small black hole would suck in our entire universe, so we know it's not that. Bermuda Triangle is often weather.
When do you take that? That looks like something for middle school.
Well, you take that when usually, listen, I'm not a doctor, and I'm going to let Dr. Reiner explain it in a little bit.
Yeah.
But usually when there is some issue or some concern about, you know, your cognitive abilities.
So what were the animal shapes?
Well, it's a lion, a hippo, and a camel.
Isn't that a rhino in the middle?
A rhino.
You don't even know a hippo from a rhino. You got no acuity, son. You got no acuity.
I'm looking at it backwards. I'm looking at it backwards.
What does it mean if you don't know an elephant from a rhino?
An elephant.
And trust me, guys, I could give you guys way more greatest hits. I mean, wasn't it he during the Kenosha riots that said that Joe Biden needed to address this because if he did not address this, it would make him go down in the polls? Stuff like that there, cringeworthy stuff. Of course, having a former president who, by the way, aced a cognitive test, and then Don Lemon doesn't even know what the hell a rhino is, which I think is absolutely hilarious. And, of course, the infamous black hole thing. Now, guys, there are a lot of content out there talking about Don Lemon and how it was that at one point in time, Don Lemon said that black people needed to pull up their pants, they need to stop using the N-word. A lot of stuff that, quite frankly, sounded pretty well based. Things that, quite frankly, sounded pretty good. But because CNN decided they wanted to lean into that whole entertainment angle instead of the actual news angle, they are still paying the price for everything that Don Lemon has done. So when you guys saw the thumbnail and you thought to yourself, here comes another person who's here to rag on Don Lemon, don't worry, he'll be back on television here soon. I'm here to tell you right now that him being suspended and him being dropped down to the morning segment, the mere fact that he decided to tell the truth on something, which, by the way, obviously got him in trouble with the woke mob, this right here is only a sign that Don is probably going to be gone real soon, because basically his career is pretty much over, pretty much in flames. Guys, John Claymore, if you like the content, hit the like button, subscribe, share the video, sign up in the comment section. Please leave me you guys' thoughts. I will see you guys later.